Hello, future millionaires. This is Aztec, and this is the CSC. One second, I'm gonna press this little button. So yeah, May, month of my birthday, month of green candles, month of all kinds of crazy training at work. Of course, I would be doing all these life changes and everything while Bitcoin is just skyrocketing. So it actually works out in my favor because basically I haven't really had to do very much. It's just, let your money work for you kind of thing. I'm on the hourly right now looking at Bitcoin. I've been following it pretty heavily because everyone wants to know, is Bitcoin going to break down or up, right? Well, right now you can see that this 21 EMA is trying to break underneath the 50 EMA, and it's trying to cause this sell-off, but we're getting this bullwhip and we're getting this huge test of Bitcoin's strength. And I think some of the most influential and the top analysts are pretty much saying, Bitcoin has to make a choice sometime soon based off, how the EMAs are looking, how the chart structure is looking. If you're a pattern trader, how the pattern is looking. Let's go to a 4-hour. Whew. Everything's just coiling up. Everything's primed. The alts are primed. It's kind of scary because you would almost expect, if you're a contrarian like I am, everything just looks so primed, like it's just going to go up. Being a contrarian, you almost might believe it might go down. But don't worry, guys. I actually did a little analysis. I think this was yesterday. I posted this on my Tradingview account, and I wrote a bunch of paragraphs. Essentially, Bitcoin looks very strong right now. If we look at this, this is a Bitcoin to Tether one-day Binance chart that I had, and then over here is a BLX one-day chart. And I used the BLX chart so that I could go back in time to August 19th of 2015 to November 4th of 2015, and to compare this almost kind of like parabolic move that was made in 2015 to our parabolic move now. And essentially, just to kind of, because look, I'm sure you guys don't want me to read all these paragraphs, so just to reiterate what's within the paragraphs, you have your EMAs that are crossed above the 200 EMA, so smaller EMAs are crossed above the 200 EMA on these daily charts. We're starting to move parabolically. We're moving parabolically back in 2015 as well. But the contrast that is so interesting to me, and why I posted this, is because this was the first time in 2015, after their bear market, just about a month after the very bottom of the 2015 bear market, that Bitcoin had its EMAs crossing over the 200, and it started moving parabolically and kind of getting that huge bounce that everyone looks for when they say, oh, hey, the bear market's over, And this was kind of that initial super strong part of the structure in 2015, similar to how ours is acting. So I had to kind of reference this chart and this little piece of the chart, because it looks very similar to how we may play out. Now, this is why. Because basically, we had the EMAs going. We were moving parabolically. The structure looked very strong. We were just going up and up and up. The contrast is that once we basically made that higher high, we got this large bear wick here. and that kind of signaled that we were going to start retracing. So the contrast here on the Bitcoin Tether one-day Binance chart that I have, that's showing us the December 17, 2018 low to May 21st, which was yesterday, the day I posted. You can see here that this portion here, even there is these little pullbacks here, which some people are saying this major pullback was due to a fat finger sell of a bunch of Bitcoin. Whatever it may be, you kind of just have to use what you have, so it doesn't really matter what caused it. But we do see how the market reacted to that huge fat finger sell or whatever it was, and we can see that basically we bought up the dip. So we created bear wicks and bought up the dip and started kind of coiling up in this almost ascending triangle kind of pattern. And we can then kind of come over to this portion here. We got this bear wick or bull wick here, and we moved up, we bought this dip, and we're kind of range bound now, and we're kind of filling out this ascending wedge or triangle like pattern. Basically, this looks really strong. So the contrast is that we haven't got that really big pullback and that candle closing as a pullback that kind of gives us an idea that we're going to start retracing. Everyone's saying, oh, there's going to be a 30 to 40% pullback. There's going to be this time to buy. It's going to be, soon. And let's go ahead and look at the shorts. Shorts really aren't stacking up too heavily. Let's go to a daily shorts chart. Yeah, they moved up a little bit since the 17th of May, and since then, if we move our price indicator, we've roughly, shorts have gone up about 20%. Interesting. Let's look at longs. Longs are kind of erect. Looks great. I mean, shorts to longs, there's more longs than there is shorts. You can see there's 2,400 here, and over here you have 1,900, just rounding. So there's more longs than there are shorts right now. So I wouldn't say we're looking for any kind of short squeeze, but the chart does look overly bullish in my opinion. We're just buying up every dip that is given to us. So yeah, guys, I mean, that was my analysis on Bitcoin. You can go ahead and find this. I'll probably I'll just post this down below for you guys, so you guys can read all of the little things that I said. I mean, there's a lot here to go over, but in the kind of the final say is just that I'm not seeing anything that looks overly bearish or something that's indicating that we're going to have a pullback just yet. Everything just looks like it wants to just run up again. Of course, we don't need a warning signal. I mean, we could just fall out of nowhere. It's Bitcoin. But generally, you do get some kind of warning, and here, we're just looking bullish all around. Indicators are starting to cool off, like the RSI, still in this power zone. The MACD does look like it wants to cross under on the underneath the signal on the daily, but you can always make another little run here. So this doesn't have to cross under. And if we look at all the other indicators in the candles and the pattern and the way it's forming and the way that the market is reacting to dips, it looks more bullish to me than bearish. Very interesting. Bitcoin is very, very interesting, but we could see, kind of a contrarian play made, but that's my analysis. I'm thinking we're going to probably, if we let's go to the weekly on Bitcoin. If we just look left, we're here. If we look left, Next major resistance is about 9,600. So there's a good possibility that we hit 9,600, as our next major resistance upward. But yeah, guys, been away. I've been away. I'm not, I haven't really been present, like talking on the Cardano Trading Telegram channel like I have for months. Doesn't mean that I'm not extremely interested in Cardano. I'm still very interested. And let's see, just looking at this 1 hour chart, it looks like we're kind of moving down. As long as we bounce off this 200 here on this hourly, or the bottom of this pattern here, I think we're still safe. So it looks like Bitcoin's 21 is trying to cross under this 50 here, and it's really probably just causing these algo bots to trade bearishly. And I think that the market does want to sell off with just to kind of like get it over with, but I still don't think this is going to sell off. I'm on live with you guys. I don't think it's going to sell off, just because I don't think the as much as maybe retail wants to sell off, and that these algos might be tricking retail to sell, I think that the dip's just being bought up by institutions and heavy hitters, because this is generally what happens. These dips and these indicators try to signal bearish things at these very important zones to kind of get retail to basically crap their pants and sell. But you kind of have to have iron hands if you want to play this game right. If whoever just sold right here, let's say at 756, if this keeps getting bought up, they're gonna buy in again up here, and they're gonna take like a essentially $250 loss. So these just note, I know I'm kind of bouncing around a lot, but there is a lot going on right now. What's just as a side note, guys, if you want to trade these kind of markets, you got to be careful, because we are hitting a time where the institutions are getting in. The big boys are getting in. They play all the dirty games, guys. They know market sentiment. They understand how to manipulate your emotions. And, you just have to be careful, because this EMA looks like it wants to cross under. But every time it gets close to, basically crossing under, you'll see it kind of flip underneath the red line, or the 50. You get this little sell-off and this panic, and you're probably getting a lot of retail just jumping in, going into Tether, or you're probably going into Tether. I bet you, if I checked, the volume right now, probably see people jumping into Tether all up and down this 1 hour candle, thinking this is just like a huge massacre. But really, you can see every time, because I've been watching it since the beginning of this hour, about 36 minutes ago, even before this, before the start of this video, that every time it would dip down, it would just get bought back up, and then dip down farther, and then get bought back up. And that just looks like, heavy hitters are accumulating to me. Look at this wick, guys. This is a bullish wick. It's just being bought up. They're playing the system here. So, and it's not that this doesn't end up down here, at 7,660 within the next couple hours. It's just that all the way down, they're creating these this sell pressure. People are selling, they're buying it at a low, it goes back up, people are buying back in at the top, then they're selling again, and they're just eating people's positions up. They're just eating your Bitcoin or whatever altcoin you're holding when they do that. So it's kind of cool that this is actually happening while I'm doing this video, because I can kind of tell you kind of how heavy hitters work, institutions work, the bots work. It's very sophisticated, very, very sophisticated. But anyways, yeah, guys, back to Cardano. I've definitely been keeping an eye on Cardano. Let's just go to the chart while I'm talking. I'm sure it's selling off just because of how Bitcoin's acting. At least on this hourly chart, you can see this nice little dip. But we are kind of staying right around this 200 EMA on the hourly. So, we're already oversold on the hourly. I really think shortly this is going to start, at least Bitcoin will start moving up again. But anyways, yeah, Cardano, I've been following it to make a comment because I haven't made a video since the convention. Everyone was expecting Charles Hoskinson to come out and be like, oh, hey, Shelly's released and we're making a big partnership with Amazon, or I don't know, something crazy. That's what I saw, at least. That's not how this works, like I've said before, Cardano is the behemoth, the all-seeing eye. It is a project that is trying to do much more than many other projects out there. And when you're creating something from scratch, it's just going to take time. You're going to have setbacks. I've seen some AMAs with Charles Hoskinson where he's tried to explain this, and he's talked about other companies that have tried to create new technology, and they've had these kind of like launch dates that were supposed to happen, and then things not actually happen on those launch dates, and this kind of essentially being a normal thing. And he's 100% correct. I think in crypto in general, you have to diversify. So if you're holding something like Cardano in your portfolio, you have to understand that overnight Cardano is going to just jump. There's going to be one day where it just makes a big move, probably further on in the future. But I'm talking about a heavy move. And if you're holding it and you're just thinking, I'm holding this because long term I'm going to make a lot of money on this, or I'm going to, it's going to be worth it for whatever reasons you may have, you want to do staking or whatever. If you're holding it and you have that type of mentality, there got to be a part of your portfolio for those kind of projects, and then also projects for short-term gains, for charts that are primed, and you're just going to make that 10%, 20% in that day. And then you got to have, a little bit of your portfolio for high risk, and then you have to have a little bit of your portfolio in some kind of stable coin ready to buy up dips. And of course, you got to have your portfolio in, some Bitcoin just to hedge against the market. It doesn't have to be a heavy amount of Bitcoin necessarily, but none of this is financial advice, but you got to diversify, in my opinion. And going back to Cardano, bouncing around today, guys, I'm going to be bouncing around a lot because there's just so much going on in my head, and I haven't been on camera for a month, so I'm going to lay this all out on you guys. But yeah, with Cardano, it's that, to me, it's that project that you hold and you think long term it's going to be worth it, long term. And yeah, I've made crazy gains since December. You guys know, if you followed me in this channel, that back in December I called the initial breakout, the very bottom, and I didn't say it was the bottom, like, oh hey, we hit the bottom, guys, buy in. But I just said at that time, this looks like the low at this time, buy in, and it ended up being the current bottom. and I was very fortunate. So I hold all that Cardano that I bought back in December. So I'm happy because Cardano's gone up, it's gone down, but that ADA I haven't touched. I have trading accounts where I've traded in and out of ADA, but the main majority of the Cardano that I bought in December, that's just sitting and tucked away. But yeah, I hold it because it's not because I'm like, oh, I want this to go up 100%, and as soon as it goes up to 100%, I'm selling that ADA. I'm holding this long term, guys, long term, because I do know, based off what I've seen in the past, that projects like Cardano, they just like, some point in the bull run, they just roll. And I mean, let's look at it, guys. I don't know if this specific chart, TradingView eliminated. Yeah, this is not a good chart. It doesn't have enough data. This only goes back to, this is a Kraken September of 2018. Yeah, it's not a good chart. I wish TradingView would give me back my USD. I think this is a different chart. I don't know which exchange it was tied to, but it definitely gave me more data further back so that I could show you what I'm talking about. But I mean, like, during the bull run of 2017, shortly, or I wish I had the chart. I can't point it out. But there was a portion where like ADA just jumped, and it was jumping, and you were at that time you were never going to get back to 20 cents again after it started jumping. So I hold projects like Cardano because I know whether or not they accomplish everything on the specific date or what, I know that at some point that portion of portfolio is holding these types of projects because there's going to be a time where you're never going to be able to get back to those lows that you could have scooped it up at again, at least for for that time period. And at that point you can either sell or I mean, example, or whatever, I mean, basically in that time period, you're not going to be able to get back to 20 cents, and you're going to look at Cardano and go, oh man, I wish I would have just bought and held for this exact time, because now it's just off the charts, and I'm going to have to wait a year or 2 years before I can buy Cardano back at lows again. So I know you guys get what I'm saying. Anyways, obviously I'm a little rusty here. It's been a while since I've been on the camera, and I'm a mess, obviously. So yeah, guys, Cardano actually looks pretty good. You can see it kind of, at least on the daily. Let's look at it on the 4-hour to kind of get more of a short term. Yeah, it looks like it's just consolidating, honestly, and it does look like it's kind of coiling up here. So, Cardano could possibly run. A lot of people are saying, oh, Bitcoin's making these moves. At some point, there's probably going to be a pullback on Bitcoin, and you're going to get like kind of like an altcoin season. But, if Bitcoin moves up super heavily, you could see the alts fall pretty hard and then kind of be bought up. And then if Bitcoin sells off, the alts could fall again, and you could probably get a better price, is basically what I'm saying, than what you're seeing here. I'm not buying any alts except for something in the maybe top 6. I don't know. Let's look at Coinmarketcap. Maybe top 7. Maybe some of these in the top 7, because those top 7 really almost like top 4, to be honest. Anywhere from Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Bitcoin Cash. Guys, I know you guys hate Bitcoin Cash, but Man, my mind is just going a mile a minute. I have a lot to say about Bitcoin Cash that I've learned. That's very interesting, but I'll try to stay on track here. Usually, when Bitcoin's moving parabolically or extremely heavy, you see the top four kind of move with Bitcoin. So people like to try to hold the top four here, even maybe top seven, while Bitcoin is moving, especially when it's moving parabolically. But if it moves that heavy, it can even push down, these top hitters as well, these top altcoins. So it's hit or miss, but you're probably best sitting in Bitcoin when it's moving as heavily as it is. Once it cools off and starts consolidating, you might get an altcoin season. But in general, if you want to risk it, if you're looking to make more than what Bitcoin does when it's moving parabolically, you might want to sit in probably the top four, Ethereum, XRP, Bitcoin Cash. But XRP is actually a hit and miss, because really when Bitcoin's moving heavily, you don't want to buy XRP when it's already moved up. For instance, when it was like around 30 cents, that was a good low. And I mean, I think I have XRP on my saved here. Yeah, here it is. Let's go to a daily. I mean, you can see that once our XRP gets in this range right down here, right around anywhere from 28 cents to 31 cents, that's a nice buying area, and then it usually rockets up. There was a really famous person, I don't know, it's one of the big guys from one of the funds. He said basically, if you don't want to lose money, like even in the bear market, you would do well to hold XRP and just buy it when it's in that range right there, because while everything else is tanking heavily, if you're buying in this range, you're just going to see gains, and then you can sell and then buy back. You can sell any point above this, buy back, in this range again, and do well for yourself, even in a bear market. And that's obviously proven. You can kind of see this if you look, because this chart goes all the way back to like August of 2018. Really, I mean, there's not a lot of data on this chart either. But anyways, doesn't go that far back is what I'm saying to really prove my point. But anyways, yeah, your top three alts are usually good. They have their buying areas, but Ethereum and Bitcoin Cash have done very well in this whole parabolic rise. It's pretty much followed Bitcoin, and even at some points has outperformed Bitcoin. So there's that. But in general, a lot of the alts, if we get an alt season before, if Bitcoin can just consolidate for a little bit, for instance, like if it broke up and it didn't exactly touch that $9,600 area right away, it slowly moved and maybe consolidated above this 8,400 high, at least on this Coinbase chart, then we could see an altcoin season, up above 8,400, as long as Bitcoin consolidated. And at that point, it would be good to hold the top 10. That's, Cardano and Bitcoin Cash and Litecoin, Ethereum, EOS. Of course, you got to look at the chart at that time to really gauge, if it's a good buy-in. But those kind of coins are probably going to move really heavily. And then you have your IEO coins that do well once they sell off. Those have also been doing very well. So just trading wise, just to kind of throw a bunch of information all in your guys' heads, there's that. But what we need, obviously, is for Bitcoin to move past this bullish zone that it's in and move past the high of, at least on this Coinbase chart, 8,400. Let's look at Binance. The high should be very, very similar. 8,340 area. So yeah, I mean, Bitcoin just needs to move past this and consolidate, not immediately fall. Because if we do get this move up to $9,600 area, moving up towards that way, and we get this kind of blow off top bear wick of a candle that we saw back in 2015, which kind of going back to what I was saying earlier with the similarities of these two charts. If we get something like that, then we're not going to see an altcoin season until we sell off. Bitcoin sells off fully and stabilizes. So you just have to look at everything and gauge it properly. There's so many different. That's the thing that I love about trading. There's just so much to know, and you really have to be a master of it all. You have to also hold a little bit of contrarian mindset in your back pocket. So, I mean, let's reanalyze Bitcoin here. Bam! Look at that bullwick. Just bought up on this hourly. We had a low of 7,729, and we just bought it right back up to currently right now 7,800 area. So that's good. I'd like to see this candle close above this 100 EMA. That would be really nice. So I guess right around 78.14. That would be great. Unless it just keeps moving down and we move towards this 200 or this pattern down here. That could work too. But as long as we don't break underneath 7,400, 7,500 area, at least on Binance, then we should do well. But yeah, that's a bunch of technical analysis and trader information. But yeah, I mean, look at these charts. They all look great. Obviously, Litecoin had a huge run up, and you can see just in this little Coinbase price graph, you can see that it's mainly kind of moving sideways now. It's trying to recover and consolidate. Binance Coin is just making tears. That's gotta consolidate now. I think maybe bump again after or right before the new IEO, but Cardano, you can see that it's steadily moving up, but it's definitely tightening up. It's consolidating. Bitcoin SV trying to come up. What? Yeah, and I heard, guys. I know the whole Craig Wright thing. Now, Bitcoin SV is be trash to me. It's totally be trash. It's a scam. Let me see what. Oh wow, it's actually trying to catch up to Cardano. Push Tron down. Let me refresh this. Okay, good. All right. Looks like it's retraced heavily since. Okay, good thing. I needed to refresh that because I was like, no way. Is Bitcoin SV really gonna try to take 10th? Yeah, the whole story. I'm not even gonna get into it, but the whole Craig Wright thing and trying to basically prove that he's Satoshi with a U.S. copyright registration form. Yeah. Anyways, who cares? It's gonna move back down to the depths of this Coinmarketcap top 100 soon. But yeah, a lot of these charts look really great, and they're really just primed. I'd say, if we're going into a bull run, obviously I made a video recently with my top 5. I have to say, I don't know if I'll make a video on this because it's so controversial. I know so many people hate Bitcoin Cash, but I'm actually thinking about scooping up. I actually hold Bitcoin Cash, but I'm thinking about scooping up more just because I think that I want to hold more of the heavy hitters and more of the projects that will look good to institutions, because institutions are jumping in. for this next bull run, next year or so, because I could see institutions kind of jumping into these blue chip type projects. But of course, I'm going to diversify. Of course, I'm going to hold Cardano, and then some of the higher risk projects down below. Let's see, what else do I want to touch on? I seen a lot of FUD around TMT, Traxia. I think the FUD is multiplied because it's supposed to be the first initial project to be launched on smart contracts on Cardano, and then everyone's seeing all the. I'm a very straightforward person, so I just have to say what it is. I'm not going to beat around the bush. I'm going to be honest with you guys, my viewers, the people that I care about most importantly when I'm referring to this whole YouTube thing here. So I think the FUD's just multiplied. Does that mean that TMT doesn't is trash now? No, not in my opinion. I think it still has the same exact everything I've said in past videos. I think it has the same exact. I don't care if it gets delisted from KuCoin or wherever. The project, as long as Cardano can make smart contracts happen, which I do believe will happen at some point, Team T's going to do well. And really, I don't know if I've ever said this, but Traxia is not like something I'm in heavily, where it's like a huge portion of my portfolio. I think maybe I've alluded to this and kind of explained this in general, not specifically though, but anything that's not in the top 100 or even below the top 50, if I'm holding it, it's in my high risk portfolio, and you can buy a ton of these types of coins, a bunch of them, a large supply of them, however you want to say it, for very cheap. So spend a couple $100 initially, if you're your average person, put maybe $1,000 or so if you have a little bit more money. If you've done really well in trading, use some of your profits, maybe a couple grand, to buy into some of these like higher risk. But I mean, if you're holding a portfolio of like $100,000 per se, you're only wanting to put like 1% or like which is $1,000, or like 2%, 5% max into higher risk. In my opinion, some people just, I know like Supo Man, that dude holds large portions of his portfolio in high risk, and there's different traders, guys, and as long as you have that knack like Supo does, I mean, he's done very, very well for himself. And I know a lot of people make fun of Superman, but I like him, and we've talked. He doesn't know me, but we've had conversations. Now, guys like Supo, they just have a knack for finding a couple of those out of the mix of high risk coins that just do extremely well in bull markets, and that's all you need. If you're that type of trader or investor, I guess in this case, and you have that knack, then you can you're gonna just double checking something. You can do well for yourself. People are hitting me up on Telegram. Anyways, you can do really well for yourself. A lot better than if you're holding, projects up in the top 10. If you're hitting those investments that are super high risk that actually make it, you're gonna make a lot higher multipliers. But that's not the type of investor I am, and I would say that I am investor / trader, and when it comes to investing, I don't hold a high amount of high risk. So anyways, there's that. Yeah, I've been playing around with Twitter still. I'll post some interesting charts. Everything that I've posted, within the week or next day, um, has made really nice moves. I've done really well on just some of these that I've put out there. And of course, you guys know my accuracy is off the charts in general. I know that there's guys like Crown Crypto that he says trading's not about calling and being accurate, like necessarily, and being. I guess you're not supposed to be, like, oh, I called this, but I know a lot of people, at least in the crypto world. I know he comes from more of a institutional background. At least in the crypto world, the people that have done very well for themselves and that are seen as some of the top traders, they do put out their accuracy, and it is a big deal. That's how we represent. This kind of like our culture in crypto trading world. So, and nothing against Crown, because I think he's probably the only other crypto trader that I really identify with. I like his personality. That I basically the only other crypto trader that I really kind of trust, and I actually kind of been in his stream here and there. But yeah, I mean, I think you have to be accurate, and you have to show that you are accurate, so people actually post charts, talk in Telegram, let people really see that you know what you're talking about, that you are accurate. Because if you're not, why are people even going to care? I mean, um, at least that's my opinion. I think if you're a good trader and you're underselling yourself, there's a lot of people that are gonna miss the fact that you got to put your goods out there. You got to show people that you know what you're talking about and you're accurate. But anyways, let's see. So I've been messing around with these Twitter charts. Obviously, I just recently started making charts on Tradingview. I'll put that down below. A lot of experimenting in this last month, and I think I'm still trying to figure out where I'm going, as a channel and everything. There's these talks that I've gotten into with people where I want to collaborate and do things, but I just haven't had the time to do it, to be honest. And sometime soon, probably after a lot of this training, and when I'm not training or going to school or something, I'll probably get back into YouTube more heavily, and even jump into some of the YouTube projects that I want to get into and collaborating and all that. But really, I think in life, I'm just trying to enjoy life right now. I've been doing so well in crypto that I don't in my job and everything. I don't have very much time to just do some of the hobbies that I have, unfortunately, and it makes me unfortunately I hate it, because I really have a good time doing this, especially with you guys, hanging out with you guys, talking with you guys on the Cardano trading Telegram. So hopefully soon I can get back into it. I've been working a lot, guys, and it's mainly due to the training that I'm going through for different specialties and things, and new areas of the hospital. So it's a big old thing that I'm going through right now. So I haven't had a lot of time, between family and that, and trying to make sure that I do a little bit of charting every day, just to make sure that I'm still being profitable and doing well in the space, and staying somewhat relevant on social media, posting charts every once in a while, or saying hey, and of course answering. I really like when you guys hit me up on Telegram, and PM me. I talk to a lot of you guys, and I think that's cool. You guys ask me questions, you guys show me things, but I just have just enough time to really kind of respond and do my own little bits of charts here and there, guys. That's about it right now. But soon I'll be back, and I'll try to keep making videos here and there and catching up with you guys. But yeah, at some point, obviously you guys seen this last chart. I'll post it down below for you guys to look at, to go ahead and see what I think about Bitcoin. I think, of course, it's going to move up to that $9,600 area, and at that point, it's either going to give us this kind of blow off top bear wick, and we're going to start retracing at that point, or we're going to consolidate and we're going to have like an altcoin season. But that's just my opinion. We could just fall down from here, but at the very beginning of this video, we've moved all the way down to here at 77.30 area, and you can see that we're just buying up this dip, and we're moving up again. And I think that the bulls are trying to push us back up so that this 21 doesn't cross under. And right now, look at this little red white histogram. Bulls are fighting to keep us bullish still. So it's interesting. This has been an extremely long video, guys. I don't think anyone's even going to get to this part. If you get to this part in the video, say crypto Bitcoin Chris can't even see straight because it's so green right now. Say that and post it in the comments down below if you get to this part. But anyways, guys, it's good catching up with you guys. Please feel free to hit me up in the Telegram, talk to me, and let me know what you're doing. I probably will make some kind of video on Bitcoin Cash. There's just some really interesting things that I've found out. Yeah. So look forward to more. Look forward to more trading info, my analysis. Follow me on Twitter, because I'm posting charts every once in a while, and every chart that I've posted recently. This Cardano chart we didn't really get anything off that, but after this kind of broke down, this was a Zcash chart. After this broke down, Zcash rebounded heavily up to this 200 EMA, and being in this, even if you bought right here where I was indicating that I was looking at that time, and you waited, you would have made a huge profit on Zcash. So that was a chart that was really interesting. But the few charts that I've posted recently on my Twitter at circle_crypto, they've done really well. So stay tuned for more videos, charts, and more crazy things that I say. Hope you guys are all doing well. Take it easy.